Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday, the 21st of May 2021, and today it's a bit dismal outside. The weather's not very nice, just like it wasn't yesterday, so let's hope it picks up for the weekend. I'd just like to start by saying thank you to everyone who wished me happy birthday for my 53rd birthday yesterday. Much appreciated. And let's hope that during the next year of my life I actually go and see plenty more sport, because the last 12 months I've hardly seen any, so it'd be nice to get out there and see some live action. Anyway, so this week we're going to start by talking about the Premier League, Football Premier League, because it reaches its conclusion this weekend. Pretty much all of the important resolutions have already been made, so we're in a situation where we know who the champions are, which team's going to be relegated. The only outstanding issue is the final European places. So we've got mainly the battle for the Champions League places. I've got to say, I think Liverpool are going to sneak in now. They need to beat Crystal Palace at home on Sunday to guarantee a place in next year's Champions League. And judging by previous history between the two clubs and the fact that Crystal Palace haven't really got much to play for, I expect Liverpool to win that game. And it probably means that Leicester are going to likely to be missing out on the Champions League after being in the top four nearly all season. They're going to miss out and blow it like they did last year. It's a bit of a shame. They've got Tottenham at home, which is an important game for them. Tottenham obviously still need some points as well to try and secure their place in the Europa League. They risk possibly the chance of not being in the Europa League and may end up in the Conference League, or not European Conference League, or maybe not at all, because they depend on results going their way. Everton and Arsenal are both in with a shout of taking those final spots. West Ham have dropped down a little bit. They're at home to Southampton, so they'll feel confident of winning that game. Going back to the Champions League battle, though, Chelsea, I think people are assuming Chelsea are going to get in, but you've got to bear in mind they're playing Villa away. Villa are capable of beating Chelsea. I'm pretty sure it's a case of perhaps how much they want to win, and also if Chelsea put out the full strength squad, there's no doubt that they're a better team than Villa by quite a distance, so you'd expect them to win and treat it like a cup final. So I'm expecting Chelsea and Liverpool to get those last two Champions League spots alongside Man City and Man United. And then probably I'd expect West Ham to still get some kind of European football next season. They'll be disappointed if they drop out altogether. I think the outsiders are definitely Arsenal and Everton. But yeah, look at see what goes on there, because there's only one of those teams going to get in. Leeds can't make it. They're going to finish 9th or 10th, and Villa are guaranteed to finish 11th now. So I think everything down middle of the table has already been settled, and it's just that some of the teams are involved in games that do affect those teams at the top. So there is something to play for in most games. So keep your eye out on those fixtures. They all kick off at 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, and 7 of the games are on Sky, and the other 3 games are on BT Sport. So that's the Football Premier League. With regards to other divisions, the playoffs are underway at the moment. The second legs of the Championship playoff semi-finals take place Saturday. I think one of them's at lunchtime, not both at lunchtime. Not sure, they're both Saturday. Brentford are 1-0 behind, and they're at home to Bournemouth in the second leg of their match. And then we've got the second leg of Swansea versus Barnsley, where Swansea are 1-0 up with a goal from Ayew in the first leg being the difference. So we'll see if Barnsley can pull it round. As a Yorkshire team, I'd like to see Barnsley, make it to the Premier League. I'm not sure it'd be good enough, but it'd be interesting to see them back in the Premier League. They've been it before, so it's not like it's all new to them. So good luck to them. A personal preference would be for either Barnsley or Brentford to get up, but Brentford have been close a lot of times recently, and I think they deserve a crack at the Premier League, especially now they've got a new stadium as well. So we'll see how that pans out. In the League One playoffs, I think you've got to say that Blackpool look the favourites after winning 3-0 at Oxford in the first leg of their match. And in the League Two ones, you've got to look at perhaps Morecambe, who won at Tranmere 2-1 last night. Liam McAlinden scored the winning goal, former Halifax Town player. He scored the winning goal in that first leg. And the Tranmere goal was set up by a local lad, Liam Riedolsh, who is from South Aram, and he crossed the ball in for Peter Clark to score the goal for Tranmere. So some local interest there for people if they do follow those, that level of football in this country. Keep an eye on those if you want to follow how the local lads are doing. Now on to Halifax, and tomorrow FC Halifax Town are away to Maidenhead. They have 2 matches left, and after looking like they were going to make the playoffs, it's now looking like they probably aren't going to make the playoffs. It's not in their hands anymore. All they can do is try and win these last 2 games tomorrow at Maidenhead, and then the final home game against Chesterfield a week on Saturday. to try and get 68 points and be close or in those playoffs positions. I'm looking forward to going to the Chesterfield game. It'll be the first live football match I've seen for over a year. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it means something, but we'll see what happens. It's going to pan out how it's going to pan out over the next 7 to 10 days. So finger crossed for the Shaman can somehow sneak back into those playoff places. Okay, so moving on now from football onto cricket, and we're going to look at the Halifax League. Latest news there. Last weekend's fixtures were decimated by the weather, really. The only game that actually concluded really correctly was the Sorby derby between Sorby Bridge and SBCI, and that was a draw, but with 10 points going to Sorby Bridge and 3 points going to SBCI. SBCI scored 203 for 6, and Sorby Bridge got 161 for 3 in their revised target from 30 overs. A good knock of 51 unbeaten from Tim Hellowell for Sorby Bridge, and a couple of wickets for Sam Mellor. So that were good performances by those guys. The game between Bradshaw and Booth was abandoned during the match. Now Bradshaw put 143 for 9 on the board, and we had a good knock from Chris Shannon, he got 39. I think Pierce Fisher scored 28 as well, so they got 5 points from the game, and Booth didn't bat at all. They got 5 points as well, so Bradshaw will be hoping for better weather this weekend, as will also all the teams, really. That wasn't the only one of the games that were abandoned during the match. We had the game between Thornton and Myvenroyd abandoned during the game, and also Triangle, who must be absolutely gutted. They amassed 304 runs for 4 wickets, and then they had Copley at 37 for 3, and the match got abandoned, and they obviously felt they should have won that. And they only get 6 points, and Copley only got 4, so they'll be a bit disappointable, Triangle, I'm sure. The Worley against Illingworth St Mary's game was cancelled, and as was the Blackley versus Shelford North Arm Hedgetop match. So, like I say, we're hoping for better weather this weekend. And looking at the fixtures for the weekend, the top of the list is the game between the two teams that I have probably the most affinity with, which is Bradshaw and Sorby Bridge. So I've got friends on both sides of that. I've got friends throughout quite a few of the clubs, but friends on both sides of that match there. So I hope it's a good match, a close encounter. I mean, I suppose I should say I want a draw, but Simon won't be happy if I say that, so I've got to wedge my bets and go with Bradshaw, of course. We've also got matches tomorrow between Copley and Worley. We've got Illingworth St Mary's against Booth. Myvenroyd are playing Triangle. Shelford North Arm Hedgetop are playing Thornton. And SBCI are playing Blackley. So let's hope, like I say, we get some full games in tomorrow. Fingers crossed the weather's a lot better than it has been, because it's not been very good in May. I've got a friend who's made a comment earlier saying that he'd spoken to the Met Office, and he said we were expecting May and they've delivered October. So sadly that's been the case recently, but we'll see how it improves. So fingers crossed for some better weather. Okay, so now moving on from cricket, and we're going to look at the Speedway season, which has started this week. And the first live match was on Eurosport Monday night, and Bellevue defeated Sheffield by 47 points to 43 in their opening match. That's a good result. And they followed it up last night with a draw, 45 all at Ipswich. So they've got good couple of results for Bellevue to start the season with. I must also mention that Ipswich did win their first match on Monday night at Kings Lynn, so they've had a good start as well. So they're the two teams that have made the best starts. There have been a few postponements around the country because of the weather, including Sheffield against Peterborough last night, which was abandoned early in the morning because they saw the forecast. I believe that's been rearranged for Thursday the 8th of July. Next Monday sees the next round commence for the Premiership matches in the Speedway, and Bellevue are at Wolverhampton on Monday night, and that is also a live match on Eurosport. So if you've got Eurosport, you don't know much about Speedway, give it a watch for a few minutes. I think you might enjoy it. Okay, we're going to move on now to talk about stock cars and banger racing. Only linking the banger racing in because of the fact that Odsal opens its doors for their first meeting since its reopening, the grand reopenings. Tomorrow night it's a Stanwoods banger meeting, and I think there's probably still a few tickets left actually for that one from what I read yesterday, and I'm not sure if there's any left now. But if you're interested in going, you can go to www.startracks.info and purchase tickets, or see if there are any still left anyway. I'm expecting plenty of photos and feedback on that first meeting. I'm looking forward to the big Formula 1 meeting at Odsal, which is the 31st of May. The Formula One, Bristol Formula One season actually starts tomorrow night, and my friend Nigel's going to that meeting, so I hope he enjoys that. That's at Kings Lynn tomorrow evening. So we'll see what the racing's going to be like this season over the next week or two. For 70 cars booked for tomorrow night, which is a really good turnout, and 75 cars booked for Odsal on the 31st of May. I'd just also like to mention the sad passing of Tim Warwick, who sadly passed away whilst he had an unfortunate, tragic, fatal accident whilst preparing a car in his garage last weekend. So really sad. Tim's had been racing for a long time. When I was a young lad, 11 or 12, he was starting to race then. So he was 65-year-old, and he was the lifeblood of the sport. Really, never a top driver. Also, always a lower grader. White top, yellow top. But a proper, genuine, nice man from what I know of him. And he'll be sadly missed by everybody involved in Bristol Formula One stock car racing. So I think that's just about all I want to talk about this week. There'll be a little bit more hopefully to talk about next week. It's been a bit sort of like not as much because the weather's played its part this week by sort of like ruining some of the events that have been going on. But we've got more action coming up next week. We've got the tennis starts in about 10 days' time at Roland Garros, the French Open, and the darts returns for the last few nights of the Premier League next week as well. We could also possibly have an update on the situation with boxing with regards to the Joshua Fury fight, because it seems to be a bit up in the air at the moment. After the date was confirmed for the 14th of August, there's now some doubts about that fight, as Deontay Wilder is insisting that his fight has to go ahead against Fury before he can face Joshua. It means Joshua may end up fighting Usyk instead. So keep your eyes peeled on the latest news about that. Just one other thing I'd like to mention before I go is the fact that Halifax Panthers have a game this weekend. They're away to Newcastle, so the best of luck to them in their championship game there, and let's see them climb the table. Okay, thank you very much. That's all I want to say for now, and I'll be back next week with another update. So till then, goodbye.